Good afternoon, everybody in the VHR. Cyan here, going to do our weekly raid review update. Start with, I would like to take a look at our Facebook group, our public group here for the guild as a whole. I put a pinned post that's across the top that highlights all the different threads that I'm currently posting into for recruitment. I'm going to work with Murphy on Mondays to try and update these consistently, but I would like from the guild, as people take the opportunity to look at them and to post, if you could post, for example, positive comments and team goals, thoughts that you've enjoyed. Really push the element, for example, of consistency, of attendance, because as a whole what we really need to do is get to that number of like 20, for example, that are consistently showing up for the 4 days that we're currently doing content, to 5 days as we go through it. Now remember, this Thursday we won't be doing any content. We're going to take a break and let everybody unwind, so I have a 3-day weekend. We'll be picking it back up on Sunday. I'd like to talk also about that with our raid schedule, that I would like to sit there and perhaps maybe start at 9 o'clock in the near future, maybe next week, and then continue to 11:30 or end at 11:15. The 15-minute shift naturally is to just give us a little bit earlier bedtime and whatnot. To adjust with that, or we can go to 11:30. I'm content with that, but I'd like to add a little bit more time consistently to what we're doing. I would also like to talk about a possible Sunday shift where, for example, we start earlier and go for like a 3-hour raid, something like 8 o'clock to 11, for example, or 8:30 to 11:30. So that way what we can do is start pushing a little bit deeper into the content. It's an easy hour that we can get, and I'm open to whatever as far as like on Sunday, for example. Like, I know a lot of people do a lot of different stuff, and so Sundays can be difficult throughout the earlier hours and whatnot. But I would like to start having a conversation about it and see what we can do for adjustments. On logs, we had our first night where we actually took down 7 bosses. We had a couple of wipes, and so this just kind of highlights again that I'd like to make sure that what we're doing is, like, we need to eliminate these wipes so that way we can start getting to like 8-9 bosses killed, for example, on Tuesday. Via the trash within the time frame that we have. And wipes are directly relative, as we've seen, for example, on Cormrock, and as we saw, for example, on Kilrog, was just improper placement and improper execution of mechanics. So we need to make sure that we're very familiar with each one of these, and we need to really step our game up in this area, I feel, where we're doing, for example, a little bit of a review. So some suggestions I'd like to make is that you kind of create, for example, your own write-up of what you need to do. What I like to do, for example, as a tank and as a healer, is I start a Word doc, and then I've typed in it as I've gone, like, you know, steps that I want to do, and then I copy paste those a lot of times into the forums onto the website of my approach of what I'm going to look to do on each one of the encounters, so that way it's as familiar as possible. As raid leader, I know that I'm supposed to be able to cover a lot of this stuff consistently, but it's like every single raid, it's really difficult to sit there and constantly tell every person what they need to do. And the way that the mechanics are, if, for example, in the current content, it's really driven hard that an individual be responsible for their playing and what they're doing. So not only do we have to maximize our total potential with the gear that we have, but we also execute at a high level involving the mechanics that are going on around us, so that way we don't kill each other and kill people that when we're trying to do each one of these. As far as for raid guides, I naturally go here to Icy Veins, and each one of the bosses are available, and you can do a quick review there, or you can just highlight parts of it as you'd like to, for example, in their summaries, and transfer those to a page for you, so you can make like a cheat sheet. Also on our YouTube channel, we have a number of videos that are here. If you click on this link right here, you'll see all the videos that I've posted. Like, for example, we've had pretty good viewage, for example, the Weak Auroras 2 video. Positional videos for all of these. These are pretty much all accurate at this point. Zul'Harrak's the only one that's changed a little bit, and I'll repost that shortly. But the strategy as far as how we approach it, really the only difference is now that range moves is to get us to get better at that in general. But anytime that you need to see it, you can check out any one of these. Naturally too, if you check out these are all the channels that I subscribe to. What I try to do consistently is find videos that are relative to it, so like Clerk, Crazy Elf, This is the Paladin, Zach, that I worked with a few days ago that really helped me with my holing Paladin. A really great guy, really helpful. Proper Bird is one that I recently found too. Does really great videos, to be honest, with clear, concise execution of how the mechanics are being dealt with. What I like to do is put on caption and then kind of read also as it's coming through, so you can take really good notes, for example, of each one of them. Star Wars, because we all believe in the Force, right? There's a number of different ones you can look at. You can go to videos too. I'm sorry, home. If you go to the home page, for example, as a subscriber, and you'll see all the different videos that I've looked at. A lot of times I share them too. I post a lot, pretty frequently also, and so this is a lot of the stuff that I've watched, just to give you some insight, you know, as far as we're going to Batman vs Superman. Love those. So you can always check them out, you know, and anytime that you find any new material, you know, share it. That kind of stuff really, really helps all the way through. All the different stuff that you can sit there and look at, discussion. I really don't put that much. I just kind of post occasionally. I'd like to see myself do more action here, and everyone else is welcome to also. Okay, so those are just some tips. And to stress again, remember our pledge and also our standards as far as, you know, being driven, being focused, understanding mechanics, being prepared for raids. The sooner that we get back onto it, you know, for example, like when we were doing Zul'Farrak, some of the issues that I would like to note is that, you know, have your flask ready, eat your food, get back as quick as possible. Don't let a death or a wipe take away from your focus and your drive to be as disciplined as we can when it comes to how we're approaching the content. The last night, for example, on every one of the wipes that we did go through that I highlighted, man, we were right back on it so fast, and I just want to say thank you to everybody for that, because that actually makes a huge difference if we're able to get back on the field and get back to attempts again as quickly as possible. Okay, again, I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for the hours that you've been putting in. I want to thank you for being helpful in all the areas that I've requested and have been. If you enjoyed the video, please click like below. Subscribe, of course, to all the stuff that I've shown and participate in it. Read the logs, try to improve consistently as you can, and that's how we're going to be able to keep on pushing forward. Okay, again, thank you, and VHR, let's do it. Okay, stay focused on it, and let's knock out our goals.